got something to complain about.
What you got, Mac?
This is a bit of a pet peeve of mine. Maybe pet peeve is too light of a word. This is something that pisses me the fuck off.
Okay, all right, let's hear it.
What is up with the like extra large paper towel rolls? Right? That shit pisses me off so much.
The toilet paper rolls do it to me too.
Yeah, exactly. The toilet paper rolls are the same thing.
They're so big they don't fit on the dispenser.
Yes. It's like I have a standard size paper towel dispenser. I have a standard size toilet paper dispenser. Why are you trying to sell me 4 rolls in one? I can't fit that shit.
Right. And I saw the other day, it was an ad for like a plastic extender.
Oh my God.
To extend your toilet paper holder so you can fit the giant roll. Here's an idea. Just give me a normal size roll.
Yes. God, I'm glad we're on the same page here.
God,
it's like every time I have to buy paper towels or toilet paper, I have to look for so long just to find one that, like, you can't even find a standard size roll anymore.
No.
They're at least the doubles.
Yeah, the paper towel doesn't bother me quite as much because they at least fit onto my paper towel holder. But I bought paper towels probably 2 weeks ago. And those sumbitches got to be like 12 inches in diameter.
Yeah, well, I saw like the 4 rolls in one today when I was shopping, and I was like, who needs that much paper towels?
Yeah.
Like I get it, using all those tubes in the middle, probably not great for the environment.
No,
but as long as you're recycling them correctly, like no big deal,
right?
And also, I don't want that big of a fucking roll.
It's unwieldy and hard to handle.
Yeah. Just like these nuts. But
well, right. We all know that.
I'm not a mother with 4 children who barf and shit everywhere,
Right. I don't need to clean up that much.
Yeah, I don't need paper towels so often that I'm blowing through 4 rolls in 2 days. I don't need that much paper towel.
Yeah, like so I'm typically pretty partial to like Viva brand paper towels.
I don't have a specific brand I like.
All right, fair enough. But when I went paper towel shopping, like I said a couple weeks ago, they were completely out of Viva, and I had to get, I think, I don't know, Bounty or Brawny or whatever. But yeah, it was like the 4 rolls in one.
God, too much.
No, it's just too much.
It's way too much. But yeah, like the paper towel, or not, the toilet paper one is even worse because like the rolls that I buy, which are basically like the smallest rolls you can even get.
Yeah,
like you have to like use them for a while before they start turning pretty easily. Like right. I have to manually turn them because they don't fit in that spot.
Right, and then sometimes I get into the thing where I just like until it gets small enough, I just set the roll on the counter and.
Yeah, that'd be a solution.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. Just sell me a standard size roll.
Right.
I don't need that.
I don't need, I'm one person. I don't need a week's worth of like working on a roll before I can finally fit it onto the dispenser.
Yeah, God.
Oh. I'm glad we feel the same way about this.
It makes me so mad every time I have to buy paper towels or toilet paper. It's one of those things that like doesn't like stay in my active mind most of the time, but those few times that I have to pick up paper towels or toilet paper, because I don't go through that much because I live alone, which is Luna, and she shits in the sand, like
right.
It makes me so mad. Just give me a standard size roll. I wonder for our European viewers, for Microwave or whoever else, or the English boys, like, do they do that in other countries, or is that an American? It feels like an American thing.
It feels very American.
It feels like a super American thing.
And not only does it feel like American just because it's like this massive size, but I also feel like it's very American to try to play off like the massive size by trying to cover it up by
saying it's 4 rolls.
Well, yeah, and that it's some sort of way like environmentally helpful, like we're using less toilet paper tubes. Yeah.
Well, they don't give a shit about that. Like, no. They only give a shit if that's what people are like giving them or giving them shit for.
I mean, it's the way that they certainly market it that way.
And like the packaging is super misleading too, because the big number they put is not the actual number of rolls. It's the number of quote unquote rolls.
Right.
They'll put like 36 rolls, and it's actually 12, each of which have 3 times the amount of paper.
Yeah, just unnecessary.
It's so misleading and so obnoxious.
Yeah, I would just much rather buy toilet paper more frequently.
Yeah, God. I also like, I don't even buy them in like that large of bulk. I buy 2 rolls of paper towel at a time. And when I run out, I buy more. And it takes me a long time to run out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need those bulk 9 packs of paper towels. Again, I live alone.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll bust through a roll when it's like cleaning time and I got to like do mirrors and bathrooms and wipe stuff down. But
sure,
other than that, no, a roll of paper towels lasts me a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
A normal size roll does.
Yeah. Right.
I don't need this massive roll lasting me a month and a half.
God,
like,
no. No, thanks. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Huh. Well, Mac, we have officially made it.
Made it how?
This is episode 26. That is 6 months.
Yeah, we're half a year in.
We are half a year into this podcast.
I'm really proud that we haven't missed any episodes yet or missed a week yet.
I know.
Because like a lot of podcasts I listen to like relatively frequently, like I'd say once a month or once every couple months, have like a week off and don't post an episode. We managed to go 6 months straight without missing an episode.
Hell yeah, bro.
Which is pretty poggers.
That reminds me, I actually want to give a little shout out
to Joe
Mama.
Joe Obama.
No, I want to give a shout out to I guess she's not technically my cousin. It's my dad's cousin's daughter, but I'll call her my cousin for sake of argument.
Like a second cousin?
I think it's first cousin once removed.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Someone you know.
Yeah, a cousin of mine started a podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, her and her friends have about 6 months on us. They've been doing it about a year.
Okay.
But I didn't realize what it was for the longest time because all of their social media posts, I just assumed she was selling one of those like Facebook pyramid schemes.
Oh, nice.
Until I finally looked and I was like, oh, it's a podcast. Maybe I'll listen to an episode. And I did. And they're very different from us.
Oh.
Let's see. It is called, hold on. God, I should have known this. It's called Wine and Whiteboards Podcast.
Okay.
So it's like 5 females that all work together in marketing and they all have a glass of wine and they talk about it a little bit and
Talk about marketing.
Gotcha. Yeah. The only episode that I actually listened to all the way through was one that was how to start a podcast.
Oh yeah.
And this has been a couple months since I listened to it. But like I said, I just saw that they had been going for a year, so I figured I'd give them a little love. But yeah, they definitely started things out differently than we did.
Very like professional and planned and standard. And
yeah, they were like, have, at least 3 episodes ready to go at launch.
Well, when we started, what did we do? We had like 1 episode in the tank when we started.
We did.
And we used up that extra episode real quick. And then we were just like, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they were like, have your social media set up well in advance. Have all your topics set up.
We had a topic.
We
got our social media set up like a week in advance.
Yeah. They also do like a pre-recorded intro and outro. Which sounds
like on every episode?
Yeah. It's like the same intro. They like introduce the podcast, which is interesting, but I like our natural kind of flow that we've got to it.
Yeah, I'm not a bit personally like, and this isn't to shit talk them, obviously.
No, they do a great job.
In general, I'm not huge on intros or outros being standardized. Like for my Twitch streams, for my videos, for the podcast, I'm not big on intros. Never have been.
Yeah.
And definitely since ours is more comedy and just like train of thought focused, I think an intro would kill that momentum right away.
Yeah.
But but like there's literally like for YouTube especially, like sometimes I'll like click on a video and like a YouTuber will have like a really long intro. I'll just fucking click off. Like
yeah.
It's a really easy way, at least from my perspective, to lose a potential viewer. Like,
yeah.
Even if you like, and I've seen this before, even if you do like, I don't know, the first 10 seconds are explaining what the video is about and then you launch into the intro, if the intro is too long, you've lost me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
But that's cool. I'll have to look into them. So, and give them a listen. Did you let them know that we have a podcast?
I did. Yeah, I sent her a message a few days ago. I haven't heard anything back. I haven't talked to her in years, but
okay.
I mean, it's literally probably been like 3 years since we've talked to each other. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll give him a tag on Monday, and yeah,
I won't lie. The name Wine and Whiteboards, it immediately made me think of like Twitch thoughts.
Twitch thoughts.
Yeah. Do you know what the word thought means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been a big thing over the past few years. These are women who
like THOT.
Yeah. These are women who stream on Twitch. And Twitch has cracked down on them a bit, but like not really. They do like just chatting live streams where they just talk to chat. But like the thing that frequently many of them do is the thing where if someone, you know, beats like the top donor of that live stream, like gives them the highest donation, they have like a whiteboard in the back that they'll write their name on.
Okay.
But it's never like on a stand. It's always like really low to the ground.
Okay.
And the reason is so that when they walk over to write on the whiteboard, they have to like really bend over.
Oh no.
So they can write on it very slowly.
Bent over.
Just giving them a show. I don't think I have to explain any further. You get the point.
Right. I understand where the logic is there.
And it's a hugely common thing. So when you said wine and whiteboards, I was like, oh, is it Twitch thoughts or something? But no.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah. No, they're pretty entertaining. And if you like marketing, I would suggest giving them a listen. They do a good job. I've got a question for us. And I'll give you my answers. But this question comes from Mike.
What up, Mike?
This is actually a really good question. Mike wants to know, if you were Joe POTUS, what would be the first 3 things that you would do as president?
I think I wrote this question down for us at some point myself. Or a similar question.
And within reason, like obviously like things that you could potentially do that might actually be possible. Not like, everyone gets a rocket ship. No, I mean, on like a serious note though, like first 3 things, probably like wipe out student loan debt.
Oh yeah.
And make education free.
Hell yes.
Universal health care would probably be 2.
Excellent. Wonderful.
And then as much as raising minimum wage would be great, I feel like just keeping housing at an affordable level.
That would definitely go a long way.
And I think those are those are 3 things that are actually feasible.
100%. They just don't get done.
They don't. But it's not like everyone gets a magical unicorn pony.
Right.
I don't know. What about you?
Well, I actually agree with all 3 of those things. I think I'll just like agree with you. But
well, that's boring. But
I think
I get it.
In terms of like, he didn't necessarily say 3 things that I would do like with my power as a president. I think that I would make a press release and I would just say to anyone who didn't vote for me, suck my balls, suck my fucking stinky hairy balls, you little bitch. Should have voted for me. You lost, you idiot. You bet on the wrong horse, dumbass.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh man.
I don't know. I'm not a terribly political guy. I know there's a lot of problems in the world that I don't necessarily know how to fix them, but I'd love to see more things done with the education system. I'd like to see, and this is not exactly the top of my list in terms of political things that need to get fixed. I think your things are more important, but just because we were talking about this on stream yesterday, I think it was, I think school lunches should be government paid for and entirely free. It's really bad that school lunches cost money to the students and their parents.
Yeah.
And that they are so limited in their scope. Because I was talking about this the other day. Going back to my school that we talked about last podcast, like I went to fucking rich kid school.
Yeah.
We had like basically a restaurant in the school, on top of which like the cafeteria itself had a deli sub line. It had a pizza line. It had like a burger and breakfast line. There were so many different options.
Yeah.
Right. But it was all crazy expensive and extremely frugal. My lunch most days was a 6-inch sub. they would put 3 slices of ham on it, 2 slices of cheese on it, and it cost $5.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's absurd. And like in my freshman year, like my mom like put a bunch of money into my like school lunch account. And I think I blew through all of it in like the first week, just getting food that I wanted.
Right.
And so like she put a limit on my account that I couldn't go over in a given day at lunch.
Yeah.
And the amount that I was given was like enough to get that sandwich and like a soda. A junior in high school eating a 6-inch sub and a soda for lunch while trying to learn.
Yeah.
That ain't enough. Do you know how much teenage boys eat?
Right? You were a grown boy.
Exactly. I needed way more food than that. I was starving most days at school, and like being hungry while learning is like scientifically not a good thing to be.
No.
Like you need to be fueled up to learn.
Yeah.
And like my mom, like she didn't understand that it like wasn't my fault that I was overspending. It's not like I was buying everybody else lunch too. It was just that the food was really expensive.
Right.
So for my entire high school career, I had that like extremely limited lunch budget.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And like my parents aren't poor. They're not rich, but they're not poor either.
Yeah.
I shudder to think how poor the poorer kids at my school were dealing with that.
Yeah.
You know, besides just bringing their own lunches, but like,
yeah,
it's absurd to think that like, and I have heard horror stories of like, you know, poorer students that just couldn't eat lunch at school. Like that's not okay.
No.
If kids are legally obligated to attend school, they're also legally like obligated to be fed, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The fact that isn't a government paid for thing is absurd.
Right. But again, back to the whole, our education system
needs
work.
Everything about it is so fucked.
Yeah.
High schoolers aren't even like the real victims. It's the college students are really getting fucked over.
Yeah. You'll have to forgive me if I brought this up last week, but I saw that I had this note in there and I don't want to forget about it. You can even cut this out if I brought it up again. But our boy Bradley, this is such a Bradley thing, but instead of saying Happy 4th of July, Bradley says, I like to say Happy Independence Day.
That does sound very Bradley.
That is like, isn't that like the most Bradley thing?
What was the thing he said when we worked at World Market all the time ago? Like, oh, in Grand Rapids, they stopped calling them rain checks. They started calling them customer orders
or customer requests.
That's what it was. Started calling them customer requests. And I think that's better because it's not necessarily that it'll show up.
Yeah,
so if you call it a request, like, oh, I'm sorry, Bradley, but that was really goofy.
George came up with that at 359. God, love that dude. That does bring me into an interesting question that Bradley had for me from a TikTok video that he found.
Okay.
So Mac, all right, you know it's time for you to get clean, right? Mack's a little dirty. It's time for Mack to get in the shower, right?
When you said get clean, I thought you were talking about my heroin addiction, and I wasn't ready to talk about that on the podcast.
No. Sorry. Well,
we'll circle back to that when I'm ready.
Yeah, when you're ready, bro.
Okay, good.
Okay, so you're getting in the shower, right?
Yeah.
You take your shower. You get clean.
Mm-hmm.
You get out of the shower.
Sure do.
You dry off.
I definitely do.
What order do you get dressed? Go.
I always start with undies, pants, socks, shirt.
Okay. Interesting. So I vary a little bit, but typically I go socks first.
I cannot stand the idea of putting socks on before my pants are on. That's odd. That's an odd thing to do.
I would say
it feels weird to like slip pants over cloth. I don't know.
I would say I do go underwear, then socks would typically is pretty common. Underwear, socks, some sort of bottoms, and then shirt. You know, unless it's just one of those days I'm just, get out of the shower and you look in the mirror and you're like, all right, I'm looking all right. I'm just going to put on some socks and walk around for a bit. Leave the windows open, give the neighbors a show.
Hey, it's their privilege,
Yeah, I mean, that honestly has happened on accident a couple times. Mac, I know you've only been over to my place once or twice, but my washer and dryer are in my kitchen.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And so like, one day I just got out of the shower, not thinking about it, and just walked out to the washing machine or to the dryer to grab some clothes, and realized, oh, look, the windows are open, and I'm just walking around. And I the first time it freaked me out, and I hit the deck and dropped to the carpet and crawled into my kitchen. But after that, I just kind of stopped caring, and I'm like, yeah, if you want to look in my windows, you look in my windows.
I usually don't care. Usually, if I need to grab a new bar of soap or something, and I have to toss out the wrapper or the box, I'll just shuffle on into the kitchen with my dick out and throw it away. It's it's 3 a.m. If anyone's up and looking in my window, they deserve it. This,
Yeah, for sure.
Enjoy,
Yeah,
that's what I think.
You're just giving the people what they want. That's all.
Exactly.
I will switch up the socks and the underwear. Sometimes it's underwear first, sometimes it's socks first.
I mean, I think for me, this wouldn't apply to you because you wear socks basically all the time.
All the time.
I don't wear socks when I'm at home. I'm not wearing socks right now.
You're not.
So, putting on socks is not necessarily a requirement, whereas putting on pants usually is. If I'm not wearing my pants that I'm wearing now, I'm wearing sweatpants. So,
Yeah.
Pants first makes sense because I'm not necessarily always putting on socks, but I am always putting on pants.
I gotcha. Yeah. Just, my sock thing. Those are 1 or maybe 2, but
I'm really not comfortable in socks if I don't have to be. If I'm not wearing shoes, I don't want my socks on.
I don't particularly like being shirtless.
I don't like being shirtless either. It's very uncomfortable for me.
I really don't enjoy it very much.
Even when I'm even if I'm at the pool or the beach or something, I'm not really a huge fan of rocking out with my tits out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how it is for you. For me, it's not even a confidence or self-conscious thing. I just don't like not having a shirt on. Even at home, I'm not a fan of being shirtless.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a bit of a confidence thing for me. But I still do feel you either way. Even when I'm alone at home alone, the only time I don't wear a shirt is when I'm in bed.
See, I like to sleep with a shirt.
I don't. I don't like to being. I do. I keep my bed very warm because I like a lot of weight on top of me. So I have 2 comforters in my bed rather than just one. But I also don't like to be super hot. So if I had 2 comforters and a shirt on, I think that would be a bit much.
I would highly suggest looking into getting
a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
I want one, but they're pricey.
I've got one. Actually, I'll send you the link. I've got one. I think it was $40.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's legit. When it got hot out, because I would sleep with my normal down comforter and then weighted blanket, and then I put another blanket over that just because it's not easy to wash. I didn't want Lily to get lily goo all over it.
Sure.
And then when it got hot, probably I don't know, end of May, early June, I ditched it and just went for the comforter, but I had to switch them back. So now I'm just going straight weighted blanket now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But no, I don't like, there's something for me about being dressed. It's kind of sleeping in jeans, that's,
oh God,
that's the worst.
That is the worst.
That's the extreme, but it's definitely it's kind of similar to that. I don't like wearing a shirt when I'm asleep, or more I don't like waking up wearing a shirt. I don't like waking up with my sleep sweat matted to me or whatever.
Oh God, waking up even from a nap if you've slept in a pair of jeans.
Yeah, it's the worst. Why is it so bad? I don't know. I don't know, but it's terrible. You don't want that.
You're I was perfectly content sitting here in a pair of jeans for 10 hours. But
as soon as I wake up with a pair of jeans.
But I slept for 15 minutes and woke up with that same pair of jeans on, and I feel like I want to end myself.
Yeah.
It's really the worst feeling.
It really is. And I don't really understand why, but it is awful.
The other feeling that I compare to that, that you're just stuck. You can't do anything about it. And maybe you don't experience this. But as someone who gets hot very easily, getting out of the shower in the summer and drying myself off, and then the bathroom and outside an apartment being so hot that I just instantly am covered in sweat the second I enter like I get out of the shower and I'm in that like hot steamy bathroom and I'm like, why did I even take a shower? Like I just defeated the purpose of all of this.
Yeah, I understand that. I feel that.
Or the same thing. You run into this problem when you have that like immediate sweat out of the shower, but trying to put a pair of jeans on when you're not completely dry.
Oh, it's the worst.
Like even if you dry yourself off as much as possible in that scenario I'm talking about, like that little bit of perspiration is enough to make putting on a pair of jeans feel like the biggest struggle of life.
It sucks. And like, you know me, I wear very tight pants. So it's compounded for me.
You wear those little twink boy pants.
It's already like reasonably difficult for me to put on my pants. But when we got some wetness going on, it's compounded. It's even worse.
Yeah.
But no, I do feel you on that, especially like when I was working at camp. You know, I'd get up at 7 a.m. I'd go walk down to the pool because that's where all the showers were. You know, I go into the men's locker area. I'd take a shower, and like I mentioned before, my camp was in a swamp. It was, and it rained a lot. Like I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but like there were years where like it rained more days than it didn't. Like we had you know, across there. So we had like my tech area, and then there was like a little road. And then there was a big field. And then that field led to a river. There were like several times throughout several years where like it would rain so much that river would overflow, and come like halfway up that field.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So humidity was pretty common in that situation. So, you know, as soon as I'm done showering, I walk out of the pool and I'm into the humidity immediately.
Yeah.
And it was unpleasant sometimes. It was pretty unpleasant.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
And then as a side note, another really uncomfortable thing about that is I usually got up much earlier than any of the the scoutmasters or whatever. But if any of them happened to be awake and like in there when I got in there, it was always really uncomfortable because I always got, you know, I look kind of young for my age.
Yeah.
So I always got looks from them like, is this guy 18? Is he allowed to be in the men's, or should he be in the boys locker room?
Yeah. I get it.
I've gotten less of that since I started like rocking stubble most of the time. Like I don't clean shave myself very frequently anymore.
Yeah.
But especially when I was like always clean shaven, like like when I went to buy bourbon for my bourbon burgers for that one episode of Captain's Kitchen, got a lot of looks that day.
Yeah, I hear you. I wasn't planning on bringing this up, and Mike actually brought this up to me, probably a month or two ago, that he wanted me to talk about, but we kind of touched on it a minute ago about being shirtless.
Okay.
Mike is a big fan of being shirtless.
Okay.
To the point where he's said he started a campaign to, quote unquote, bring back the shirtless male. Which I hate the idea. Like, I hate the idea of me being shirtless, like, in public. But I do find it hilarious because we sat there and had a whole conversation about how, like, 70s and 80s, that was totally a thing. Like,
it was a big thing.
Like, you'd go to a baseball game and just see, like, a shirtless dude just hanging out. And, like, I don't know about for you, but him and I were talking, and, like, we would look back at old photos, and, like, when we were little kids, there'd be pictures of like our dads just like
always shirtless,
just hanging out in the living room without a shirt on.
Yes, my dad wasn't like that when I was like younger. But like any college photo of him, any pictures of him in his college days, he didn't have a shirt on.
Yeah, and it was the same thing with my grandpa too. Like, I'm pretty sure there were pictures of. This has to exist because I can't like make up this image in my head, but I'm picturing him with like a pair of like nice khaki shorts with like a belt on and like black socks, like probably halfway up his calf, no shirt, and just like has the garden hose, and he's like washing the driveway because that was a thing that my grandpa would do. Like, got to make sure the driveway is clean.
That's I'd love to rate that dad. That sounds great. That sounds like a great picture.
If I can find that actual picture, and if it exists, I will bring it in, and you can rate my grandpa.
Poggers moment.
Yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, washing the driveway shirtless, Total
dad move.
Total dad move. Yeah.
Mowing the lawn shirtless.
Oh, hell yeah.
See, that one, I've seen a lot of people do that, but it always like really grossed me out. Because when you're mowing the lawn, a lot of like grass fibers get on you.
Oh yeah.
And like, especially you're on a hot day, you're sweating it up. Like it's not just going to fall off. It is sticking to you.
Oh yeah. No, you are going to be covered in debris by the time that lawn is mowed.
I wouldn't want that. I would rather wear like a shitty shirt than get it all covered. Like I replace my armpit hair with fucking grass fibers. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I get the idea behind mowing the lawn without a shirt. It's hot. You're outside.
Right,
you're in the sun. You're doing work. It makes more sense than I'm at a baseball game. I need to take my shirt off. Like, dude, come on. You're an adult. Like, you can't go 3 hours without taking your shirt off. That's a little absurd. So mowing the lawn, it makes more sense from that perspective, but
super gross.
Super, super gross from a debris perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Anytime doing like any kind of like yard work without a shirt is just kind of gross.
God, I always hated mowing the lawn when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, it was never a thing I really liked to do, but I also had a giant yard growing up, so it would take like well over an hour to mow the lawn.
The lawn at my dad's house definitely took a very long time to mow, and I would sometimes have to mow the lawn at my mom's house, although usually my stepdad John would take care of that, and he had a riding lawn mower, so it wasn't a big deal. But when I was 16, I think it was 16, my summer job was weed whacking.
Okay.
And I got paid really well that summer because the guy I was working for was like one of my neighbors, and he paid me like under the table, tax free, like and like a decent amount of money too. He was a really cool guy. He earned his pilot's license while we were mowing lawns together, so he took me up in like a very small plane. He was like 17 and like took me up in like a very small plane to the point where like at one point during our flight he was like he like took his hands off of the like wheel or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, lean to the left. And we both leaned to the left and the whole aircraft started to lean.
Damn.
That was a really interesting day. But that was a tangent. But anyways, like he had a riding lawnmower that he would ride around on and I would do the weed whacking. But there were some lawns that he couldn't get his riding lawnmower onto. Yeah. And in that situation, I would bust out the push mower and I would do the push mowing. Yeah. But there was this one yard. I hated this place. We'd hit it like every other week, but it was the fucking worst. Yeah. The backyard was not too large. I want to say it was like a 20 by 20 yard. Yeah. Not super large. It had an incline that was like a solid 30 degrees.
Okay, that's a pretty steep grade there.
Yeah, and so like imagine fucking push mowing that. Like having to push up that. Oh. It was a fucking nightmare.
God, and I can imagine like if the grass was even like the tiniest bit wet, that would have been like impossible to get up that hill.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was the worst.
Very cool that he got his pilot's license and took you up, although I would have been way more excited if he had gotten his pirate's license.
I know, that would have been sick if I'd gotten to go on his pirate ship for a couple days.
Hell yeah. Oh, Captain Mack getting to go on a pirate ship.
Oh yeah. My parents told me after he did that they were actually like super uncomfortable with like me doing that. Yeah. But they were like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. We got to just let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
Potentially once in a lifetime. So they were like super uncomfortable because he was also like a really young guy and like this is potentially super dangerous, but they were like, he's not going to get another opportunity like this, at least, not anytime soon. We just got to let it happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you think about it, like, think of how like apprehensive parents can be just about like letting like teenagers get into a car with somebody else. Yeah. Let alone a fucking airplane. Yeah. Like, oh, hey, can you vote? No, I can't vote or do anything as an adult, but I can take you up in an airplane. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little wild.
No, yeah.
It's wild.
That guy was really cool. Super smart. His name was Ryan. He used his lawn mowing. And I didn't mention this part. Like the lawn mowing was how he made his money to get his pilot's license. Like that, he paid for all of it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And that wasn't even like his career path. He went to college for like aerodynamics or something like that. It was, playing bass, but he wasn't going to become a pilot. He just wanted to become a pilot.
That's awesome.
He was a really cool guy. He was a really cool dude. He treated me well.
Yeah. Nice. So was that your first job then?
No, I worked at camp before that.
Okay. What about other than that? McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's. God, that was fucking awful.
Have you had any other like random like summer jobs or like anything like goofy? Like, did you ever like, I mean, I know this isn't really like a guy thing, but did you ever like babysit or anything?
No, I think I tried to break into babysitting, but parents aren't keen on male babysitters.
No, yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, I tried to do that, I remember, but I don't think I ever got any clientele. No, I don't think I did have any other jobs. I worked camp most summers. The only summer I didn't work camp was when I was doing lawn mowing.
Yeah.
And then when I worked at McDonald's, that was 4 months and I quit because it was fucking awful. And then I didn't have another proper job until World Market. So
yeah. I mowed lawns for a neighbor a couple times, but that wasn't like a regular thing. I don't even know if it lasted a whole summer. But one summer, this was, I guess, technically my first job, like my first job where I actually got like a paycheck. I umpired Little League Baseball for a summer with Mike.
Yeah, you've talked about that. That was with me, at least, not on the podcast.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a really cool first job. And honestly, like, I think that would be really fun to like do as like a little side gig if it paid any more than what it did back then.
Not me. Don't like kids.
I mean,
I can't stand being around them.
See, I get what you're saying, but these kids were old enough. These were like young teens, like 10 to 14 maybe.
Okay, well, maybe,
so
but
they were old enough and they weren't my kids.
Fuck them.
Yeah,
kill them.
I like baseball. It was a lot
murder them.
It was a lot of fun, but we would get like $8 a game or something like that. So,
Yeah, I mean, like that's the worst part. Like the most fun jobs are the ones that don't pay. I mean, like I mentioned before, no one worked camp staff for the money. It was not good pay. My most profitable summer, I made $1,300 for 6 weeks of work. No, it was 8 weeks of work.
Okay, so for 2 months.
Yeah. And that's not the amount that I make in a month.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you.
But and that was like as a director who was like a senior staff member who did more than just run my own area. I also trained other staff members, and I worked during Cub Week too. Like,
yeah,
and did a lot more than just the normal camp staff thing. As a normal staffer, I only made like $500 for 6 weeks of work, and like,
yeah,
it's not a lot. It's not a lot at all.
Yeah, no, that's
no one's paying any bills off of that shit.
No, not really. Yeah, it really does suck that the most fun jobs really don't pay very well.
No, and like when I was doing Cub Week too, that was a lot of fun. Cub Week was interesting. It was like 2 weeks at the end of like the Boy Scout summer camp weeks. So the Boy Scout summer camps weeks would end. We'd clean up and tear it down from that, and then like a small number of the staff off of that would stay for Cub Week because a lot of the Cub Week stuff was run by like moms.
Mm-hmm.
But a few of us would stay behind to cover some of the stuff that they couldn't. Like I covered the STEM area, and the STEM area was like just random sciencey shit,
Yeah.
Like we made paper airplanes, which was interesting. But since it's Cub camp, it's not like overnight. It's a day camp. They come at like 10 a.m. and they stay until like 2 o'clock, and the rest of the time was just yours, which is a stark contrast to Boy Scout summer camp where we'd get up at 7, go to bed at 2 a.m, and start the next day.
Right.
But it was really interesting because we didn't use the tech area for the STEM stuff. We did that in an outdoor pavilion. So the tech area wasn't being used. So those of us who stayed behind to do Cub camp at the end of the summer, like set up shop in the tech area as like our kind of like staff hangout. Because we had like a staff building that people would use during the Boy Scout summer camp weeks to like hang out in. But it wasn't air conditioned. It didn't have like internet or computer access. So people came into the in the tech area instead. So we this was really fun. It was like 8 of us that would just like spend all day after Cub Camp in there. And we had tables lining the walls, which during Boy Scout summer camp would have my computers on them. But since they were all stashed away for the summer, it was just blank space. So everyone else would like set up their laptops, set up their computers on those desks. And then we had like one desk that was like a snack desk. We had like a bunch of fucking chips. We had like multiple like 8 packs of Mountain Dew, like a bunch. It looked like it was set up for a party, but it was actually just where we'd go every day.
Hell yeah.
And we would all just hang out and play video games and play Magic and hang out in there for hours. And that was a lot of fun. So
nice. This is super random, but I thought about it when you were talking about the tech area. On this week's installment of dumb shit I did at World Market that I've never really told anybody about. Okay, so you remember in the office, we have like 2 desktop computers.
Uh-huh.
There was the one we usually use that was over by the cash office. And then there was like the other one.
That was way slower.
Okay, when old Ken still worked there, I don't know if you remember this, but at one point that computer like got fried. Like it completely went out and it had to get replaced.
That sounds familiar. It might have been when I first started.
It was right. I want to say it was right around the time that Ken left, maybe a little before. But
okay, that would have been. No, keep going.
It was definitely when Ken worked there because he was like, "Yeah, I broke the computer," and I was,
"Oh shit, I think I remember this." Okay, yeah.
I was like, "What did you do?" He's like, "Yeah, I was just bored sitting there." I think he was on like a conference call, and he like unfolded a paper clip and stuck it in the USB drive. And he said the whole screen just went bloop and everything went out. And I just held on to that information for like a year plus. And like right before like I left, like when I was getting super frustrated with our DM and just hated World Market, one day I was sitting there and I was like, you know, I like a little bit of chaos at work. It makes things a little bit interesting. I was like,
it's like we said last episode, too much peace is no good.
Right. You need a little chaos. So I was like, I'm going to see if this works. So I shoved a paperclip in there, but
didn't do it.
It didn't do it.
Damn, bro.
I tried to break the computer, but
God, the technology that World Market utilized was absolutely pathetic. Like, we referred to that computer as the slower computer, but what we didn't mention is that the other computer we did use was also really slow.
Yes.
And then we had the computer in the cash office, which like straight up, like our younger viewers might not even like know what I'm talking about, but it was like a black screen with green text straight out of a fucking sci-fi movie from the 80s.
You know it runs on DOS.
and Tim loved to tell our customers about that, but he was right that it was absurd. Like if that computer went down, the entire store would go down. We couldn't do transactions at the register if that computer went down.
Yeah,
it ran everything, and it was such an old piece of shit. But I always thought it was really funny. Ken like did this, and like I took over doing it after he left. Like when we would count the cash at the end of the night, I would just leave the screen off because we never turned off the computer. We just turned off the monitor because it was, you know, an old. It was an old tube monitor.
It didn't have a screensaver.
Right. If you just left it on, it would burn in.
Yeah.
Again, our younger viewers might not understand that.
Yeah.
But so I would just not turn on the monitor and I would just do it from muscle memory.
Oh yeah, we all did that. Yeah. Ken and I would do that too.
Yeah. God, that computer was so fucking old. The fact that you could do something like that from muscle memory, because you didn't use the mouse. Did it even have a mouse? I don't think it had a mouse.
No, it was just tab and enter.
Yeah, tab and enter, and you just punch in the numbers, press tab, punch the numbers, press enter, whatever else, and you. As soon as you started hearing like paper print from the computer,
you'd hear the printer. You knew it. You knew you did it right.
Because the printer would start printing. You listen for like the number of pages that were supposed to print, and then you'd like backspace back to like the point where it was like on the home screen and on the login, and then you were like, all right, I never needed to turn on the monitor. I did everything I needed to do tonight.
Yep. Done.
God, that shit's hilarious. The fact that we could even do that without just breaking the whole thing.
Speaking of that computer, like controlling everything, I don't think I told you this story. I know I told Crystal this because I ended up apologizing to her for it afterward. Like probably like a year ago, like after I left World Market. So there was one day, this probably would have been, like winter 2018, maybe 2017, 2018. I was working and we had like a really bad snowstorm and the power went out.
Uh-oh.
And this is when Jeff was still our DM and he like would not let us close. And like the battery backup's starting to go, registers are down. We've got to handwrite everything.
Gotta use a fucking credit card reader. You do the
Yep. The manual credit cards. The emergency lights are dimming now. At this point, it's like pitch black in there. And finally, Jeff is like, okay, yeah, you guys can close. And it was like me and our old boy Steve and I don't know, a couple other people. And I was like, all right, they said we can go. Let's grab our stuff. So we grab our stuff and we're like walking up to the front of the store. Literally, we get up like by the registers and the lights turn on. And I was like, yep, we're just going to pretend like this never happened and just leave. And we did. And it was like, I don't know, like 6 o'clock. You know, we should have been open for like another 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I just went home.
Jeff said we could close.
Yeah, Jeff said we could close. Whatever. We'll just pretend like the power turned on 5 minutes after we left. But then Crystal ended up having to deal with everything the next morning. And I felt really bad for her, but
Crystal,
sorry about it.
It saved Mike a few hours off his shift. You know, you can take solace in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know if you were there that day. Do you remember the day that the power didn't go out? The computer went down, so we couldn't do credit card transactions, and we were running out of the like special like carbon paper to do manual credit card.
I think I remember this.
And so Carissa was trying to hunt down
the
manual credit card paper, and she was like, somebody has to have them. We were located right next to a mall. Yeah. So she was like, someone in the mall has to have this paper that we like just sitting in a drawer, like taking up dust or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what she did, we couldn't close. We did not get permission from Jeff to close.
Right.
But again, we were running out of this paper. You know, we had a limited number of transactions on our hands.
Yeah.
So she like left. She locked and closed the door, and she was like, just keep it closed. Don't let anybody in. And she tells me, if Jeff calls, tell him we're still open.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that shit happened all the time.
And it was the funniest shit to me. It's like, okay, we are legitimately running out of the ability to do transactions, and we're going to lie to our district manager that like, oh, we're definitely still open, Jeff.
Do you know how many times she told me to tell Jeff that she was on lunch?
Oh, but that's different.
But I mean, that was like daily.
You're right. No, but that one cracks me up every time I think about it. Like we were just like, well, like, I don't know why she couldn't have just been like, hey, we don't have any more of this credit card shit because nobody buys it because we don't ever need it.
Right.
We can't stay open. But no, like she was so afraid of him that it was like, just lie to him and tell him we're open.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever knew about this. I'll have to see if I have it somewhere. If I do, I'll show it to you. You'll fucking crack up. But you know, Carissa, she used to always have excuses for why she was late, why she couldn't come to work.
Every time, every day. She had like 5 uncles die.
This is our general manager, by the way.
Our old general manager.
Old general manager, yes. So Ken and I, we made up a bingo card for excuses of why she couldn't come to work or why she was late. And it was like flat tire.
That's the big one.
2 flat tires, because that was an excuse. I'm pretty sure more than once. funeral.
Funeral was common.
Her mom was in the hospital.
Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah, it was great. We had like a whole fucking bingo card with like a free space, and it was great. We carried him around in our pockets with us for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah. God,
she was the worst.
she really was. Awesome, fun person, but just the worst.
I don't even know how she ever got promoted. I don't know who'd have thought that was a good idea.
No, I can't imagine how her career before World Market, she was responsible for like
She had a few good jobs.
like planning out how to load cargo onto airplanes.
Yeah.
Like she was putting hundreds of people's lives at risk all the time.
I would not have trusted a plane loaded by her.
I didn't trust her putting fucking cookies on a shelf. I don't trust
her putting my luggage away into a plane that I'm going to be riding.
Right. Oh God.
Oh,
She's the worst.
100%.
Great lady though. I do like her. She's a fun time. Good people.
I mean, I wouldn't have gotten a job without her because Crystal didn't like that I only wanted a job.
Right.
How dare an 18-year-old looking for a basic position at a shitty store just be looking for a job?
Oh God, we're not going to talk about this again.
No, we shouldn't get into it again.
No. God. I won't say the person's name, but there was one person that we worked with that had very distinct hair. Cashier. And this is how awful Carissa was. He came in for an interview. Carissa comes up to me and she's like, you got to do this interview. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But why can't you do it? And she's like, I can't get over this guy's hair. She's like, I can't.
I do remember now.
I was like, come on. And so like I look out the window and he's sitting and dining, because that's where we used to do our interviews.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, yeah, this guy's got some interesting hair. So I'm out there. I'm trying to be like professional about this as much as possible. Good dude. He ended up being a really good hire.
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy, great worker. But the whole time, Carissa's walking behind him, like cracking up while I'm trying to interview him. But yeah, I guess my people skills worked out pretty well there. I guess I was a decent judge, but that was not a good situation for her to put me in.
I miss that dude. I wonder what he's up to.
I don't know. I think he recently quit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. Good dude.
Yeah.
Really good dude.
Little weird sometimes.
I mean, we all are, but
he was a little more than others.
Okay. All right. Fine. Yes. Yes. He was a little quirkier than normal, but yeah.
So are you saying you like it raw?
Raw? Oh God. Oh, do we want to tell that story?
Is there any risk he's ever going to hear this?
No. All right. Were you there for that story? I don't think you were.
No, I was nearby and you told me about it right away.
So
no, I was standing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just remember
because we all had to hold back. I was right there. Yeah.
Yeah, because Brianna was telling us a story about how like her and her grandpa used to eat raw potatoes. And this guy just out of nowhere
walks right up,
goes,
who can we mind had been weirdly flirtatious with her just in general?
Oh,
which doesn't help the story.
Beyond weirdly flirtatious.
Beyond weirdly.
Yes. It was very well known that there were some feelings from him. But anyway, so she's like, yeah, my grandpa and I, we used to just eat raw potatoes. And then sure enough, here he comes just interjecting into this conversation and goes, so are you saying that you like it raw?
And a few seconds of silence as we all try to process what just happened.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, Yeah, no, he did some weird shit that definitely could be perceived as not okay, but he was in general a good guy. He was good natured.
Oh yeah, no,
He just did some shit that was weird.
He's good natured dude, really good person, really enjoyable to talk to. He's always got interesting things to say.
Yeah.
And for the most part, a good worker. But yeah, he would just do some odd stuff sometimes.
Did he ever tell you about his hot and ready story?
Yes,
Oh
I do know the hot and ready story.
This is a great story.
When he went to like Tennessee or
Yeah, he
somewhere
was
down
out there for
south.
like a concert or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, some convention or show or something.
Yeah.
So he was driving. They needed to drive back. They had a long drive. He was with his girlfriend, I think.
Yeah. Who was not the same person that he asked if she liked it raw, by the way.
Though he was dating her at the time.
He was. Yes, that is correct.
But so they had a long drive ahead of them, and they were like kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And so they decided they wanted to stop and get a pizza from Little Caesars. And anyone, and our American viewers will know, obviously. I don't know how common Little Caesars is outside of America, but like they do a hot and ready program. You go in, you ask for hot and ready pizza. It is a pizza that is baked and ready to go. Exactly what it sounds like.
And it's only $5.
It's only $5.
Yeah.
You know, they're like the lowest tier of pizza in my personal opinion, but for that cheap, sometimes it's worth it.
But that was like the price that you paid for that 6-inch sub in high school.
Yes.
Like it is a very good.
It's a large pizza too. It's not like a medium.
Yeah. It's a good value.
Yeah. So they decided to get a pizza, which, like, as a side note, pizza as a road trip food seems very strange to me.
Yeah. It's not really a good car food.
No, not at all.
No.
But
But
especially like you have to imagine like they're going to eat a certain number of slices, then just like they're just going to keep the box of like leftover pizza and like keep dipping into it.
yeah, I don't.
But I'm not going to judge that aspect
Sure.
of the story.
You want pizza. You want pizza. It is what it is.
So he went and drove to like the nearest Little Caesars, and he like went inside and he was like, "Can I get a hot and ready pizza?" And they're like, "We don't have any that are ready right now, but we can get you one in like 5-10 minutes." And he's like,
That happens sometimes.
"Yeah, it's
run
no big
out.
deal." And he's like, "All right, that's fine. Don't worry about it." So he gets back into his car, keeps driving, finds the next nearest Little Caesars,
Yep.
walks inside. "Do you have a hot and ready pizza that I could get?" They were also out of hot and ready pizza.
Correct.
Also told him like 5-10 minutes. Again, you know, clearly not desperate for food. He leaves,
Yeah.
goes to the next nearest hot and ready or Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's like pretty far out in the boonies, I guess.
Yeah.
So he walks in and he's like, "Can I get a hot and ready pizza?" And the cashier goes like, "Well, we have to make it first." So he goes, "Well, do you have any that are like hot and ready, like the hot and ready, like $5 pizzas?" And
Yeah.
she's like, what are you talking about? Hot and ready pizza?
like your Little Caesars, that's your thing.
That's what all Little Caesars do.
Yeah.
And so like some manager like walks over and he's like, "Do you have like hot and ready pizzas? Like $5, hot and ready to go?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's not something we do. You order a pizza and we'll get it ready for you."
Yeah. It was
Like
really
she
weird.
got like really aggressive about it. Like hot and ready pizzas aren't a thing.
yeah.
So I think he did end up like ordering a pizza and waiting for it there. But like that is hilarious. Like some random Little Caesars out in the middle of fucking nowhere somehow had like not only did the employees who work there not know that the hot and ready program exists,
Yeah.
but they don't run it.
Yeah, you also, I don't know if he just didn't tell you this or if you forgot about this part of the story. At one of the Little Caesars he went to, no one acknowledged him. Like no employees came out to help him. And so he like walked behind the counter.
Oh, shit, that's right. I do remember that.
And there was like a notepad where like the employees were just like writing things down. And he wrote down something really funny, like, I won't say his name, but like, "I was here," or something like that, or like, "I just want my pizza," or something. And then I think he ended up leaving because nobody even acknowledged that he was there.
I forgot about that part, but yes, that happened too. Like how fucking hard is it to get a goddamn pizza?
Yeah.
The poor guy just wants a pizza for his road trip.
Right.
But no, he did like weirdly funny things like that on a pretty frequent basis. Like when I first started, when I was seasonal as a cashier, like he and I were seasonal cashiers at the same time. He started like a couple weeks or maybe a couple months before me, whatever. I remember like one time, I want to say this was like maybe in winter or maybe in spring, like a time when we weren't super staffed up and like didn't have a ton of people working. And like we were kind of swamped to the registers and like both of us needed like someone to come up and help us.
Yeah.
So like I called like badge holder to the register.
Yeah.
No one came. No one
Sure.
even acknowledged the call.
I think I know the story you're gonna tell.
So he also picks up the phone and he's like, badge holder to the register, please.
Yeah,
No response.
because we're all dicking around in the office.
Yeah, no one comes up to the register.
Yeah, of course.
And so like we start joking around about like how we're gonna get their attention because we need to get someone's attention. And so he picks up the phone and like over the PA system to the whole store, he goes like, open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur, and he hangs up the phone.
Yep.
And finally, like right away, Ken walks up to the register.
Yeah.
Because finally that got someone's attention.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh man, good dude.
Yeah.
Funny shit.
Yeah, I like that dude. God, I forgot about that road trip story.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Oh, just running into no hot and readies anywhere.
Imagine. And I would be sitting there like, are you gaslighting me? What the fuck do you mean you don't have hot and ready pizzas?
Well, and I love his commitment to getting the hot and ready.
Yeah, no, he was like, I'm not waiting. I want it hot and ready.
Well, and because I feel like if I had stopped at one Little Caesars and they didn't have any, I'd have been like, all right, screw it, I'm going to McDonald's or something else. But like, he went to multiple Little Caesars to get that pizza.
Must have just not been that hungry, I guess. Like, just been like, I don't want to slow down my road trip time. I'll just find the next available one.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, additionally, like the fact that he didn't try any other food places. He was just like, nope, it's got to be the hot and ready, dog.
Yep. Either it's hot and ready or it's
not
wrong.
I tried to like come up with a rhyme.
Yeah, no, I know. I wanted something better than that, but that's all I could come up with.
What's your go-to road trip food?
Beef jerky.
Okay.
I like beef jerky in the car.
That's a pretty good one.
It's a good snack. It's it's tasty. It's high in protein. It's easy to eat. It doesn't cause crumbs or a mess.
Yeah.
Beef jerky for me is the ideal road trip snack.
How about like stopping for food though?
Stopping for food. Like if I'm going, so I used to always like to go up north and leave super, super early in the morning, like before the sun comes up. So I would always like to stop for like bagels and coffee or something like that in the morning. But if it's like middle of the day, I don't know, maybe like an Arby's. I really do like Arby's. What are your go-to road trips?
I think I usually go for McDonald's. It definitely depends on the length of the road trip. Like if I only need to stop for one meal, it's probably going to be at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I might switch it up. Like if it's like a particularly long road trip, I do like a good steak and shake, you know?
Yeah.
And I especially like if I need to like get out and a stretch, like I always like to sit down at a steak and shake. That's always kind of nice. But I'll usually get, we all know I'm a big fan of McDonald's chicken nuggies.
Yeah.
But those aren't a great car food because you want to be able to dip them.
Yeah.
When it comes to like eating in the car, I like a McChicken.
McChicken's a decent one to eat in the car.
Yeah, but you get cheese on it and no lettuce.
You've told me about this.
Yes, I've mentioned this. Cheese and no lettuce. The no lettuce is just because I don't like lettuce. It's a flavorless garbage food. But McChickens by default are just like the chicken, the bun, and like mayo. Like warm mayo and cheese is like a weirdly good combination with the McChicken.
Really?
Yeah. I actually haven't had that in ages. I think like because like for the past year, it's been like all drive-thrus.
Yeah.
And it's really not ideal. Like we talked about before how shitty drive-thrus are.
Yep.
Giving a complex order like a McChicken with added cheese but no lettuce to a
no, it's not going to be right.
drive-thru. It never ends up right. So, you know, on road trips, I would stop and get that. But
yeah.
Oh God, I haven't had that in ages. I want that.
What about car snack?
I mean, I'm a big little candy boy.
Yeah.
I usually go for, you know, the classic gummy bears or jelly worms.
I gotcha.
Gummy worms.
Gummy worms. I do like some Pringles because they're easier to eat than like a bag of chips.
Yeah.
But you still have the crumb issue and your hands still get all greasy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Beef jerky is the way to go for me.
That's a good one. That's definitely a good one.
Nice.
I mean, we're 26 episodes deep. Should we finally reveal the origin of the name Breakroom Nachos?
I don't know. Are we ready for that?
Dude,
I gotta pee so bad.
We have like 5 minutes left of the
I
episode.
know. I had to pee for like 5 minutes.
God damn it.
God. This has got to be it. I was like, we got to be out of time. And then you're like, Hey, how about we tell the story about Breakroom Nachos?
Well, I think we'll hold off on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the very end of an episode anyway.
It is. This would have been a good time to tell it, but that's all right.
Well, how was your pee-pee?
Necessary.
Hurt at all? Any stones?
No stones. I really needed that.
I'm glad you got that moment just to yourself.
Yeah, yeah. 6 months, 26 episodes.
Pretty poggers moment.
Hell yeah. Good job, Mac. We stuck with it this long.
Thanks, Mike. I did all the work.
Wow, Dick.
Good job to you too.
Yeah, thanks, Mac. You've done a great job so far.
And good job to Luna for being the butt of the joke.
And yes, the butt of the joke a lot. And thank you for everyone who's listened to us for 6 months or any amount of this last 6 months. We appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're a Breakroom Nachos listener, kind of a gamer, not gonna lie.
It's pretty poggers.
Definitely.
Pog.
Bye, dorks.
Later.